Hey, not to be pressuring or anything, but I'm aiming for 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and that goal is simply only possible if you were to subscribe to the channel. So if you could consider going down below and clicking the subscribe button to help me reach that goal, that would be highly appreciated. But again, I'm not pressuring you. You can also check out my other social media linked in the description, and feel free to support me financially through Patreon, Ko-fi, or the join button down below. With that being said, let's get right into the video. In today's video, I'm going to discuss the recent allegations and the subsequent admission from DanganMandy about their illicit involvement in sexual activity with multiple minors, including erotic roleplay and sending porn to minors. So, today's video is gonna be a fun one. So, as a bit of a recap, for those that aren't aware of the situation, DanganMandy is a Danganronpa YouTube channel that accrued 95,000 subscribers in its time online. Now, DanganMandy is a transgender content creator currently identifying as female, and most of their content consists of Danganronpa, but with various different challenges, different types of tasks, or videos that are based around new details to games, or funny headcanons, that sort of thing. Basically, their content varies, and it surrounds and encompasses the Danganronpa fanbase, which seems to garner them around 20,000 views minimum a video in the Danganronpa community. Now, DanganMandy has also had large connection to many content creators like Weeby News, where they'd worked on collabs like Danganronpa Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and multiple more, which allowed them to gain a connection together. Now, that's why it comes as such a surprise that Weeby News recently came up with a statement regarding DanganMandy and explaining their point of view on the recent allegations made against DanganMandy. That statement reads the following: in regards to accusations against DanganMandy, trigger warning for gr/ming and p//philia. So recently it's been brought to my attention that Mandy had been accused of multiple different things, including taking advantage of minors and being inappropriate with them. After reviewing the accusations as well as her response to it, I feel very troubled, especially since in her document she admitted to engaging in erotic roleplay with other users without confirming their ages. I decided to confront her about it, and I felt that she was deflecting a lot in her response. Not only this, but some other screenshots from around a year and a half ago were brought to my attention that confirmed her engaging in sexually charged conversation with a minor even after she verified that they were underage. I confronted Mandy once again about this, and she did not deny that these screenshots were real. She said that she wouldn't be giving a statement and that she would be leaving the Danganronpa community indefinitely. I felt that since these are such serious accusations, it's best to let the community know. Also, I feel a sense of responsibility to address this since I've promoted her on my channel previously. I regret this now, so I'll be editing out any times I've mentioned her in my videos. I want to make it clear that I do not support her actions and that I support the victims. From now on, I'll be much more careful with who I feature/promote on my channel. I'm so sorry for not looking into her more before promoting her. I feel deeply upset that someone I considered a friend has behaved like this. The conversations I looked at were extremely troubling, and I feel terrible for all the victims involved. I'm sure that, like me, many of you are probably very upset regarding this, but I do not encourage harassing or bullying her or any of the victims in the situation. I am disgusted by her actions, I do not support them, and I hope the victims get the help they need. I'll be linking all documents mentioned in this as well if you guys would like to look at them. And from that, all I can really gather is that Weeby News does believe all the victims, that DanganMandy admitted to everything to Weeby News, and also that Weeby News seems to believe that it's their responsibility because they worked with DanganMandy, which in my opinion isn't really their fault. Content creators can work with a variety of people. I mean, I've worked with a variety of people, some of which are obviously people that have made mistakes or people that I no longer agree with the views of, and I personally don't believe that a content creator should have to apologize for their association with someone, especially if they're calling them out, and I don't believe that a content creator should really have to worry about looking into who they're collaborating with, as long as the person they're collaborating with isn't a known terrible person, really. However, aside that, I'd like to go into the Google Doc that they link down below and all of the information shared against DanganMandy, as although they claim DanganMandy has admitted to it, and there is a community post I'll discuss later, I don't believe that just because they've admitted to it means that they should be able to get away from this situation drama-free without having to deal with any more call-outs based on the information that's come out against them. I believe this information is very important to be brought to the surface, as obviously I've called out people like Cosmodor who have made similar responses to DanganMandy and then continued their behavior into the future, which means that this is a problem that needs to be addressed at its source right now before it can develop into a bigger situation. DanganMandy needs to be held accountable for their behavior. So let's get into the Google Doc. Now, there are points in these Google Docs where they mention points that are basically null or not relevant for my video or relevant as an expose topic, like cheating and such, which I don't think is something that is important enough for me to discuss as a drama-related topic. So I'm going to skip over those topics in the Google Doc, and if you'd like to read the full Google Docs, they will be linked down below. The first Google Doc reads, Mandy is a file. She has sexted constantly with a minor ever since they were 15. This was a constant thing. Some context before I show the screen caps though. Mandy used to go by the name Miko, which is the name in 2 of the screenshots below. The minor involved has asked me not to out them, but everything here is true and verified. Now, although I can't confirm that for myself, as I haven't spoke to the minor, these screenshots obviously shed more light on the situation. Now, in these screenshots, you can see constant sexual engagements between Mandy and a minor, where Mandy never at any point checks the minor's age. That is a problem because if you aren't checking the age of someone you're sexually involved with, that can immediately create many different situations or possible outcomes where you could have been sexting a minor and would never know. Now, obviously, every single person on planet Earth knows that you need to verify the age of someone you're texting. If they claim to be under 18, then you shouldn't sext them, and if they don't answer the question, you don't proceed with a sexual engagement with them. That should come as common sense in any sort of situation, and I believe that most content creators know that engaging like this will be the end of their career. Another Google Doc also goes into conversations they had with a victim. This is made by a content creator, and the victim's testimony, where the victim explains that they also had similar experiences with Mandy, where Mandy had sexually involved themselves with this minor, and apparently after the second ERP, Mandy apparently asked their age, and apparently they did it 1 or 2 more times, and then Mandy became distant. Now, obviously, although there aren't screenshots to confirm this with certainty, as far as I've checked, this is still an issue if true, and considering Mandy's community post that I'll show later, I am inclined to believe this testimony. Now, also in this Google Doc, they highlight the fact that apparently in a deleted comment, Mandy stated that in 2018, they were 18, which would make them 21 now, which would also mean that in certain occasions during this situation, they would have been 19, 20, and 21, which would make their behavior even more indefensible, as they would have been a grown adult that was engaging themselves sexually with people as young as 15 or maybe even younger. There's also a segment in these conversations where Mandy says that they're really smart and that they could get out of being called out for this situation, and this was confirmed apparently by 2 different victims, which supports the idea that Mandy had already prepped a response for this situation and never actually cared when they got called out about holding themselves accountable, which is why I bring up the Cosmodor mention at the start of this video. It seems way more problematic at the fact that Mandy doesn't seem to be holding themselves accountable at all, and could very easily engage themselves sexually with more minors just like Cosmodor did. But now let's get into more proof. This next conversation, these are the first screenshots that I've seen that show the whole context of the chat, and throughout these screenshots you can see that at one point Mandy does check the age of the person they are sexually involving themselves with, and after learning that that person was a minor, Mandy continued to engage themselves sexually with the person, and considering you can see the timestamps and this is on a mobile, I'm more inclined to believe it, and given the fact, again the community post later, these screenshots seem to have a lot of validity to them. Now, if these screenshots are to be taken at face value, Mandy checked the age of the person they were engaging with sexually, continued to send them porn, and also continue to progress in erotic roleplay with a minor while knowing that they were a minor on the exact same day that the minor told them their age. This becomes an insane problem because at the time of these screenshots, Mandy would have been 20 according to our timeline that we have built up. Now again, Mandy's age isn't confirmed for certain, but I do feel like there's validity behind that claim, otherwise Mandy wouldn't have released the community post I'll discuss later. Now, these chats once again highlight the problem that Mandy has sexually involved themselves with multiple different minors, and while knowing those minors' ages, Mandy has continued to sex them, continued to send them sexual content, and has not cared about sexting a minor in any way. That creates a huge problem, again with the fact that Mandy doesn't seem to hold themselves accountable and had planned for a response if they got called out. It makes them feel like a threat to minors at this moment, and makes it feel like they don't actually intend to repair their behavior or hold themselves accountable based on this evidence, which is why I feel like it's so important to make this video. But now I think it's time to stop dodging it and discuss the elusive community post that Mandy released about this whole situation. Now, Mandy released a community post that read the following: I want to address multiple statements and allegations that have been discussed and brought up by multiple different YouTubers, which I'm not sure if they want me to name, but people like these have all made responses or statements on the subject, which I will be linking down below for you to read. They have brought up serious allegations about me that have been happening for the past 4 years. I already know that people are disappointed in me, and that behavior isn't acceptable, which I apologize for. I apologize to the victims and anyone who is a fan who doesn't want to support me anymore. As mentioned in their statements, I'll be leaving the community and will stop making videos to help improve my mental health and become a better person. Unfortunately, I have made a lot of mistakes in my life, and this was a case of going too much over the line. While I don't want to admit it, I think it's better to tell the truth so I can actually atone for what I've really done. Unfortunately, I had a really bad habit over the past 4 years of doing erotic roleplay with other individuals, with DMs of me not confirming their age, while other cases I have. I know how disgusting this is, and I've wanted to put these past mistakes out of my head for a long time. While I won't go into personal details, I believe I had ERP'd so much because I felt so lonely in my my life. I understand this is not an excuse and I'm not using it as one, just letting people know the truth instead of exaggerated lies that have come forward. I want to clear up multiple things before I go, as a lot of lies have been brought up and some stuff wasn't cleared up in the YouTuber's statements. The 31-page document I made and the set of screenshots taken in 2018 to 2019 from the Rayan document were over a year and a half ago. The date was not brought up in these screenshots, so I've seen a lot of people in the comments believe both the document and my 31-page response is recent. These aren't, and like I said, these were made over a year and a half ago. I still stand by with all in the information I presented in the document, as the person behind the original document has lied about me quite a few times, and making assumptions about me to get more people to hate me. In addition, I've received an overwhelming amount of death threats, which, if you have any type of comments to leave like this, I will just delete it and ban you from my channel, as it's clear you don't know how to let someone better themselves on past mistakes, and that you don't take this situation seriously, and don't care for either side of the situation. There was a lot more context and information I could give about the situation, but it would be pointless when this statement is to apologize and atone for my mistakes. I understand how upsetting this is for a lot of people, and all I can do is apologize to both you and the victims. I'm sorry, and I am unsure if I will return to the community or leave forever. For now, I want to focus on bettering myself and talking to professional therapists to help better myself as a person. Thank you. Now, all this statement really sounds like is, yeah, I did it, yeah, I'm just gonna disappear now, and then when I return, I don't want anyone to hold me accountable, and basically I'm just gonna act like I've changed. This seems like a massive pile of shit, and it's the same type of response that Cosmodol made, where they say that they're going to get themselves help, and then they just disappear without ever being held accountable for anything at all, without ever giving valid reason for anything they did, and without ever explaining the honest truth of what happened or going in depth in it, so that people that aren't informed know exactly how fucked up their behavior was. Now, let's touch on a few things in particular that I noticed in their statement. They apologize, and they said they're going to leave the community to help improve their mental health and be a better person. And that is the first mistake. They claim they're leaving to be a better person and better their mental health, but again, in the screenshots before, they already believed that this stuff may come out, and that when it came out, they wouldn't really be afraid of it because they were smart enough to know how to handle it. This makes me concerned for their response to validity of what they're saying, and whether they actually do want to become a better person or improve their mental health. I also don't like how they use mental health here as a semi-excuse for the situation, saying that they're going to leave to improve their mental health, semi-putting blame on their mental health for the reason that they engaged in these actions, when these actions, whether their mental health was bad or not, are completely their own and doesn't justify it in any way. They also use the excuse later on that because they were lonely in their life, they participated in these actions, which they claim isn't an excuse, but the fact they mention it makes it an excuse. Now, this is a complete fallacy. Just because you've had a lonely life doesn't mean that you go out and take advantage of kids sexually. That is a complete excuse, and there are other ways to involve yourself with another partner that is of age than minors. People claiming that they only engaged with minors because they were lonely is a complete fucking bullshit excuse, because whether you're lonely or not doesn't make you someone that is capable of sending sexually explicit messages to minors. That is something that you choose to do. You choose to prey on minors knowingly. They follow up by saying that they're unsure if they'll return to YouTube or the community, and my advice is don't. Never come back. Okay, maybe I should be a bit more critical and less personal opinion here. So, if you were to learn and improve your mental health and show that you've changed as a person, you could possibly return to your community and show that you are better as a person. However, at this current moment, as all I can really gather from the information out about you is that you don't actually care about being held accountable, you've never actually felt guilty for anything you've ever done, and as far as I can tell, you don't deserve forgiveness from anyone on this platform. And that's why I find it so scary that all of their comments are in support of them, thanking them for coming out about this, being as brave as they are, to not lie to their audience, or all of that fucking bullshit. You should not be thanking someone who took advantage of kids for being capable of owning up to something that they had no way of denying. The proof was out there, and it doesn't make them a better person because they owned up to it. It means that they're a bad person that capitalized on the situation and used whatever they can to save as much face as possible. And that does not justify what they did, and the fact that they admitted to it does not mean they're bettering themselves. They've shown no proof that they're bettering themselves in any way, and if they were bettering themselves, then years ago when this shit was happening, like the Google Doc that was released a year and a half ago according to them, when that was happening, they would have gone away and they would have improved themselves. However, given there are screenshots from 2020 about this person, that means that they did not go out back then to improve themselves, which means I'm way less likely to believe that they're going to now. I don't believe at this moment that DanganMandy deserves any comments thanking them them for being as amazing as they are, being as generous as they are, to admit to their disgusting behavior. I believe that all of the comments should tell them that they don't accept DanganMandy back until DanganMandy has showed that they are a better person, that they have learned, that they have improved, and that they aren't going to participate in this behavior ever again in their life, or putting boundaries in place like never having a Discord account, never having social media accounts capable of DMing minors, and more, so that DanganMandy cannot involve themselves with minors in sexual ways ever again. And with that being said, I feel like I'd like to end this video here, as I believe I've very well encompassed all the information that's out about DanganMandy, and I believe that I've shared my opinion in the most concise but explanatory way I simply could. With that being said, I hope this video has allowed you to understand more about the situation, has allowed you to understand how fucking disgraceful their behavior is, and has given you a clean and simple viewpoint on this whole situation from someone that isn't biased in the situation. With that being said, if you'd like more videos just like this one, I post videos every single day on various different topics. I post at 6 PM GMT, 1 PM EST, and all of my videos encompass a variety of different topics similar to this one, and obviously I do videos just like this one, but I also do videos on various different topics like reviews and more, so if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, feel free to subscribe. You don't have to watch all the content, but turning on notifications means you get told whenever I post a video, so if something actually catches your eye, you can always watch that video. With that being said, you can also check out my other social media link down below, like my Twitter, Discord, and Instagram, and I'm almost at 1,000 followers on Instagram, so if you want to check me out there, that'd be highly appreciated. And also, if you'd like to go down below and check out my Patreon, Ko-fi, and the join button, you can support me financially on all of those platforms. With that being said, I'm going to end this video here. Thanks for watching. I hope it spreaded more light on this situation, and I'll see you next time. Peace.
Says she wanna rock with it like me. I'm a stylish guy. Spend a little guap with it like me. We can catch a fly. Says she wanna rock with it like me.